We got to break Cereba up. Cereba is a cartel. We have to own our grid because we paid for it. You had it too long. That's number one. We need to control the purchasing of fuel because we pay for it. We should be in charge of buying it. The fuel companies, you better buckle up too. Jackson Point pipeline have to be reverted back to the ownership of the country. Oh, Mario, you can't tell them how to operate their business. Well, yes, we can. Having this idea that you're going to impose what's best because of what the law tells you can do will cause an uprising in this country that you've never seen before. My children are going to be saddled with the debt of a billionaire so that he can have his name printed on everything we got around here. Because, let me tell you something, this is Dart Island. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Word of Mouth. Today is Friday, the 12th of August, 2022. This year has certainly kicked into high gear and flown by. I mean, we are almost at the middle of the 8th month of the year. But so at the end of the day, we just have to utilize the valuable time that we have, which is very short and limited in some cases. But it's just one of those things that we need to pay close attention to. So I believe that, sometimes we get lost into translations of many things and we forget the important things. So I wasn't going to dive in. I just want to talk about some stuff today. We're going to cap off the weekend where we're going to continue to talk about the high prices over at the utility company, at the pump, and all these different places. Fuel and gas is kind of the places that I like to explore and talk about all the time. But I watched this whole situation unfold over the last week, and personally, I wasn't gonna pass a comment about it, but because we're the sort of platform that we have real conversations and we just call a spade a spade. Now, you got other people who have different opinions, and I think that's where we've kind of disconnected from the reality of everything. Is that we have allowed people's opinions to offend us, or when we agree with someone's opinion, we support it, and then it is perceived, especially in the public or in social media, as if we're taking sides. But at the end of the day, it's just your opinion based on the facts. We all share the same facts, but have different opinions based on those facts. Now, the Miss K-Man thing, I like I said, I was going to be cricket silent on that, only because, at the end of the day, it has a governing body that should be running it, and I don't have an issue. So, but the thing that really bothers me about it, the one factor in that whole situation, take away the committee, take away the person who won it, take away all that stuff. Let's focus on the real issue at hand. And the issue is that we are so happy, we are so keen and so ambitiously focused on the negative side of everything. I just don't understand it. Now, maybe I know that good news don't necessarily sell newspapers, right? We know that drama and bad news and big headlines, that these are the things that attract attention and people's interest. I get it. I understand that. But what I don't understand is that how we are so willingly paused in a position where we focus long enough to position ourselves to criticize. And I tell you, that is one of our greatest downfalls. And we always hear this saying, crabs in a bucket mentality. Okay. The thing is that we have really demonstrated our best quality, and that is to criticize and kick somebody when they're down. I mean, come on, man. Let's just look at the situation. So yes, okay. He who without sin cast the first stone. The Bible tell you about that. So for all you who are God fearing, boom. That's probably one of the most logical analogies in the Bible. So at the end of the day, 99.9% of the people that were so willingly to jump to criticize this girl for winning it and criticize the committee for allowing her to participate, I can tell you for a fact, 99% of those people that had the hardest things to say got the most skeletons in their closet. I can tell you that. That's a fact. Because good, decent people don't react or respond like that. They don't. That's a fact. So 99.9% of the people who negatively reacted to this girl winning because she has some court cases and are people who are worse than her and who have gotten away with it. Because not because you've never been convicted of something don't mean that you ain't never committed a crime. So understand that. We live in an infestated society of people who are good at committing crime and avoiding prosecution. Facts. But again, let's not talk about them because at the end of the day, here we are having a conversation about a girl who have obviously elevated herself to another space in her life. And I'm not saying that I condone criminal activity or I'm trying to give in about. No. At the end of the day, she's in the court system. Her case has yet to be heard and concluded. So how does that give anybody the right to go out and castigate her and ridicule? I get it. Have an opinion. But instead of having a basic opinion on the facts, they went the extra mile. And we all know, listen to me, Cayman Mall Road is only in existence because of that sort of content. I can tell you that. Nobody pays attention to Mall Road unless they're looking for drama, conflict, and arguments and all this foolishness. That's why they're there. Because if it was a reputable news platform only, nobody would pay no attention to it. But again, and to each their own. I mean, they can do whatever they want over there. I don't have no problem with that. The thing is that why do we continue to tear down? Why wasn't an article that stated the obvious? Hey, here's a troubled person who have battled through this. Yes, she has some ongoing charges that occurred long before she decided to run for Miss Cayman. Hopefully those charges will, or hopefully she'll be exonerated or whatever the case is. But yet, boom. But then you'll have the skeptic over there saying, yeah, but you know, Mario, what if she were guilty and then now she Miss Cayman? Okay, then we'll deal with it accordingly. Well, that's an embarrassment. Let me tell you what's an embarrassment. Let's put aside Miss Cayman. Let's put aside Miss Cayman committee. Let me tell you what's an embarrassment. Is that we got a banana republic running here, run by the highest officials. We got people going to summits and seminars and conferences around the world telling them how great Cayman economy is when we got people eating out the garbage. No, that's an embarrassment. You want to know what an embarrassment is? Is when we can boast the 5th largest financial center in the world, but we got charities feeding our children. That's an embarrassment. And that's not only a single or individual embarrassment, that is a national embarrassment. So if I want to talk about something, let's talk about that. Instead of us saying, you know what, let us try to elevate, encourage people when they do positive things. No, we take the one positive thing in their life, the highlight of their life. This is the highlight of this girl's life, you know. Regardless of anything she'd done prior to that point, this is the highlight of her life. And we choose to take everything from the past and some of the things that are current to tear her down, to make her feel like she's worthless. So if there's anything we should be ashamed of, we should be ashamed of that. Not that she won Miss Cayman and that she could possibly be charged with some charges that she have now. That may be some sort of misfortune, but it's not the worst thing. We just deal with it accordingly. But you know what? We don't care to worry about that, right? Nah, we not worried about that. I don't remember when we had people over at the Foreign Commonwealth office representing our office, but yet made so many things slide cross, and Cayman felt the effect and they didn't even know. Listen, we got plenty more things to be nationally embarrassed about than to focus our energy on tearing down somebody who trying to do something better. Because I can tell you, everybody got a pass. And I don't care who you are. I don't care where you are. You got a pass. And there's a point in that past that you're not proud of. So again, if you wanted to have the conversation about the situation, you could have just simply had the conversation, but nobody, you didn't have to go the extra mile, man. You don't do those things. That's not right. We can't be our brothers and sisters keeper if we keep tearing down our people when they get to the highest point of their life. Come on, man. Can't do that. You can't continue to do this foolishness. But we consistently, and I mean, and we the best at it. We are the best at it, where we find the necessary time to be allotted that we can tear down someone. It's just unbelievable. But but where do we draw the line? And we and focus on the things that are important to us. But at the end of the day, it's hard for me to comprehend that we got so many other fundamental issues pressing in this country, but yet we choose to take an entire week to destroy a young Caymanian reputation and name. And oh, well, she already destroyed her own reputation. Okay, great, whatever. But I can tell you this: entering Miss Cayman, following all of the necessary training and all of the activities that led up to the pageant, and then participating in the pageant, take focus, take courage, take commitment. And then on top of all that, winning it, despite all odds, because I can tell you, she didn't buy out no judges. Wasn't nobody funding the judges and paying them off. So at the end of the day, the fact that she could have accomplished that and no one gave her any gratitude for doing that, or no one showed any appreciation for doing that, we just, okay, time to open the book on her now. Time to drag her through the mud. And I can tell you all this. That's what Cayman Mall Road is designed to do. And kudos to them if that's what they want to continue to do. But how and I can tell all of the subscribed members of Cayman Mall Road, you all are no better than the people who pushes the content. You know no better, because that's one alike, and that's fine, because you're surely not the content, you're not the consensus of the people. I get it. So to each his own. Everybody choose whatever path they want. I'm not criticizing you for that. I'm just simply saying that, look, we got to remove ourselves from this stigma that we need to tear a person down and dissect them before we can accept them as anything. It's a stupid approach. And I can tell you all, we have a serious problem in this country when it comes to double standards. We do. Facts. Because that conversation led into other conversations about other people. Oh, well, in Parliament, we got people who are convicted for this, and this. But let me tell you something. If we don't believe in rehabilitation, if we don't believe in the 1998 revision of the spent conviction law, then we need to remove it out of law. And we need to be the barbaric, draconian thinking people that we are, and stop being hypocrites pretending to be some modern advanced society with an evolving constitution to accommodate every need and everything that we have to accomplish moving forward. So if we want to be living in the Renaissance period where we just barbarians and don't care about anything, let's just call ourselves that. But don't write a constitution to suggest that we're something else, and then we go out there and our actions say something completely different. Because this whole conversation about Miss Cayman led into other conversations about other members of Parliament and different this, and I didn't even see the relevance to it. But it's because we sit back with our popcorns and we just wait for Caymanian on any tear to fail so that we can have a conversation about it and criticize them and just let it be a topic of discussion for how long? But how do we remove ourselves from that mentality? Do we convict and prosecute people to the full extent of the law? Absolutely. No one is saying that we shouldn't. But when we take a strong look at all of the issues that we currently face, how come nobody not putting in that same sort of effort? Why? Why we don't hear these platforms talking about the kicking the can down the road policy that the government implemented about paying people like bill? Why we don't talk about that? You realize that we boast the fifth largest financial center in the world. We got equity partners and senior partners going home with $4 and $5 million bonus every 12-month cycle. But yet, we got charities feeding our children. We got government putting in scholarship funds, and we got all of these things happening to feed our children in school. Let me tell you something. This is the best banana republic in the world. You hear what I tell you? We on top of the food chain when it comes to banana republic. I telling you. The problem is that you just can't sweep this problem under the rug no more. No, 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 no. That methodology is out the window. You can't do that anymore. At the end of the day, there are some things that we need to focus on, and there's some things that we need to prioritize in our society. And tearing down another Caymanian should never be on the list of things to do, much less a priority. And for all those people who subscribe to that sort of rhetoric to any Caymanian, regardless of who they are or where they're from, you guys are no better than the people who initiated it. And that's a fact. Now, of course, there'll be some repercussions for my comments this morning. I really don't care. I never do. But whatever they say about me, whatever anybody say about Mario Dion Rankin can only be a repeat. They can't say anything new about me. Because you know why they can't say nothing new about me? Because if they had something to say about Mario Rankin now on the things that I do now, they would be positive, you see. Because everything I've done is positive in regards to the Cayman Islands, myself, and everything else. So they don't want to talk about that. They're going to talk about things that happened in the past. Yeah, they're going to talk about DUIs, and they're going to talk about this, and they're going to talk about immigration. They're going to talk about all that, and that's great. Talk about whatever you want. But we must focus on the things that are important. That is to build our people up, reinvest in our people. And in every society and in every country, you got your good and bad. You're not going to ever get away from your good and bad. We just need to learn how to manage these things. We need to learn how to understand the environment that we live in so that we can press forward and put the best policies and legislations in place in order to accommodate. And whenever we find something that is creating a hindrance within policy, we change the policy. That's what the Constitution is designed for. It's an evolving document. If we find something in it that's creating a hindrance, we have a meeting, we consult the public, and we make the change that's necessary. But no, we'll just stick to our same old. Let's just tear down everybody that get up on any level and make them feel like they're worthless. No, we professionals at that. We can open up a college in the Cayman Islands on how to tear down one another. We can give out PhDs in that. And you know what's concerning about that statement? Is that we're comfortable doing it. We're comfortable doing it. But anyway, let's check some of the comments. If anybody made any comments, but I see people watching. Because she changed. Because she's changed it, don't mean it'll go on her record. I don't know what that means, Alric. Maybe you can explain that to us. One of our biggest issues is the lack of public consultation. That is the truth. That don't know like Jordan, believe me. But one of the things that I was thinking to myself, right? And this is in regard to the Miss Cayman Committee. I see where they issued a public statement explaining the situation. And truth be told, I don't have a problem with what their explanation was. In fact, that clarified a lot of things to me. So now I'm kind of saying to myself, for all those people who jumped the gun and started just criticizing, maybe you should have waited. And you got to remember now, right? The the young lady that won Miss Cayman can't publicly say anything about her case because it's an ongoing case. So she's really put in a really hard predicament because she can't come out and defend herself because she has a pending case and you don't want to prejudice the case. So she has to be quiet about that. I mean, obviously she can get out and say, you know, I apologize for whatever reasons. But again, if I was her or if I was one of her handlers or people who would advise her, I would just tell her, look, have nothing to say. Wait until the court case is finished. End of story. Just have nothing to say. Because it doesn't matter what you say, because it's been proven now that you've said nothing and look at all what's been said. So don't go out and say anything because you just add fuel to the fire. Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. They can't talk about it no longer than a couple of days anyway. And if you keep responding, they're gonna keep firing. So just leave it alone. And I saw somebody had post, this thing on fire this morning talking about this Miss Kim, and I'm saying to myself, you got to be joking me. What we should be talking about is White Water Authority cutting up all our brand new roads, changing pipe that they put in the ground in the late 1980s. That's what we should be talking about. Yeah, we should be talking about why we're paying these exorbitant CUC rates based on fuel. Want to look at on the fuel factor this month? Okay, and remember your fuel factor is the largest part of your utility bill. And if you look at your fuel factor, they get their diesel cheaper than anybody else, on this island, So what you pay at the pump for your diesel is way higher than what they pay for theirs, Okay, just so you know. I mean, let's go to the calculator and check something just right quick. Just a second, it's responding. Yeah, so all right. Sorry. Yeah, so again, the situation. Anyway, I'm gonna leave the conversation about the situation with the Miss Cayman issue because I just wanted to express my opinion on it all, and I just think that we need to stop. We just need to start focusing on more important things. Yes, that is important, but not as important as feeding our children, education, education, cost of living. These things are fundamental issues that are deteriorating our social environment, and we need to fix these things. We've got to fix these things. Miss Cayman has a committee. Let them deal with that. Oops. Anyway, all right, here we go. Because she was charged. Oh, yeah. Thank you for clarifying that, Alric. Let me read what he said. Because she's charged, sorry, didn't mean it will be on a record. Been to court before some of the cases. Hold on. Convicted, but no convictions added to my record. So again, exactly. So that's a great point. I don't know if you all remember Austin Harris. You all remember that? Austin Harris went to court for some abuse case. And whereas he was found, how did it go? I don't want to misquote it and I get in trouble, but allegedly he was guilty of it by admission, but yet it was no conviction recorded. Okay, so he was not hindered from running for public office, and that's clear because he ran and he won and he served a term. So at the end of the day, we must pay close attention to the details, and this is why, you know going on away. And you know what I will say. Let me just say this. Let me just say this out loud. When I looked at the platforms that was ridiculing this girl and going on in the most way, and I looked at the comments and I looked at the number of people who participated, it wasn't really a lot of people. Because if you really had to get down to the nitty gritty and say, okay, let's compare numbers, apples to apples, it was not a lot of people. Some people boast that they got all these people, but when you really look at it, it really not a lot. It really not a lot. So at the end of the day, the people who criticize her didn't represent the consensus of the people. Hence the reason why I read one portion of the thing that said people are asking for the Miss Cayman committee to resign. Which people? I haven't heard it. I haven't seen anybody ask that. Nobody's asking for nobody to resign. That is just a statement made by the platform in which was perpetuating the garbage, trying to make more fluff. Nobody was asking for nobody to resign. The problem is that we so easily follow and buy into this garbage that is not even funny. Oh boy. Anyway, I forgot to mention this morning at the beginning of the show that we are streaming on YouTube and you can watch us live on YouTube. My apologies. The link is there on our comment section. You can just go onto it or forward it to a friend, and then you guys they can get to watch it as well. But I know, I mean, when I looked at a few previous light bills, I mean, sorry, just shifting into second gear here now. I looked at a few previous light bills from February all the way back to now, and I was looking at the difference in the bills and whatnot, and I was able to pinpoint the reason why the bill had gotten to where it is in the last 2 months, about 3 months, May, June, July, and I tracked back the registration of the high prices of fuel, and then I said, okay, February, January, February, March, April, things were great. Well, let me not say great, sorry. Things were normal on the bill. Then when I looked at May, June, July, when the supposedly high prices of fuel were supposed to kick in, then we started to feel it. But at the pump, we were feeling them long before that. I'm just speaking specifically about CUC. But yeah, those were the things that stuck out to me, and I was like, well, how do we properly regulate that? Off-reg have a job and a half on their hand. I can tell you that. So that we need to definitely pay attention to. But until let me just check this headline. That's what I meant to do just now when I picked up the phone. Oh, there's a headline here in Cayman Compass. Miss Cayman Universe to stand trial for multiple assault charges. Oh boy, we just won't let it go. So it go. Yeah, let me just check this article that I was looking at last night. See if I can find it now. No, okay. I can't find it. It's all good. Yeah, so I was in a conversation with some people. Well, it was actually a group, and we were discussing the. Oh my God! Did I freeze on my tongue out? Anyway, jokes this morning. I was talking to some people that is a part of a group in this petroleum industry, and we were having a conversation in regards to a supply chain and shipment to do fuel storage that I'm trying to work on right now with a company and partnership in Jamaica. And one of the things that stuck out to me is how available this product was and for how long it's been available. So I started to think, I said to myself, I said, well, how is it? And it's probably because there was really no implementation through OffReg, which is a government arm, that that ensured that they shopped for the best price with equal quality fuel within the region or even outside the region. So what it led me to believe is that the situation at hand and how the fixed agreement and the contracted agreements are set is because they're not interested in looking anywhere else other than the orchestrated set of events that takes place now. And you all have heard me mention on numerous occasions the breakdown of how much fuel we burn at the utility company a day, how much we burn a year, how much money that means on an annual basis. You know, we're talking about 145,000 gallons of diesel a day. That's about 46, 47 million gallons a year. And if one person were making 25 cents, we talking about a huge amount of money. We talking about $16 million for that 25-cent collector. So again, when we peel back all the layers and we start to find the underlying issues as to why things remain the way they are, then it becomes you can understand it. So we need to obviously stay focused on how the mechanisms of that work, because put aside the utility company for a second. I mean, they get a product, they get an invoice, they pay it with our money. So we need to intercept the due process from the point where they're purchasing fuel. We need to have a list of products from from a list of different vendors and and companies in which accessible from the region, so that we can say, okay, we can compare apples to apples. We can say, oh, okay, I see why you got it from Marathon, from Marathon, Florida, which is then subcontracted and distributed through Rubis. I get it, because that at this particular point was the cheapest. That's in the best interest of the consumer, because there's 100% pass through cost to the consumer. So yeah, okay, but right now it's just flipping a coin, heads or tails. It does. We don't have an involvement in the process of purchasing fuel. The only involvement we have is the quantity, so we charge a duty on, and the quality in which we try to represent for our jurisdiction. So OFREC has to approve the quality. I don't think they approve the quantity, because you just need what you need. But they approve and monitors the quality. But we need to extend that to, because to better protect the consumer, because that's what OFREG is originally designed to do, is to protect the consumers. So as opposed to just focusing on the quality, we need to also focus on the price. So government don't charge duties according to invoice cost. Government charge duty according to volume. So just so people know, the cost of fuel that is imported for the utility company, the volume that they pay on is 25 cents a gallon, which is different from the retailers or the wholesalers that sell to the retailer, which is 75 cents. Okay, so, but the thing is that we need to understand why they're buying it from this vendor, and is there other vendors within the region that is cheaper and have the same quality and can provide the same efficiency. Have we ever had that conversation before? Well, I won't go out there and say I know for a fact. I don't know. But what I do know is, as a result of not having some sort of regulation or some sort of seat at the table where we can have a very eagle's eye view of what's happening, we haven't seen any relief. During the lowest cost of crude in the last 10 years, Cayman has been paying the highest cost for retail fuel at the pump and even at CUC. Those are the facts. And a large part of the reason for that is because we don't have any regulation to ensure that our wholesalers are shopping and getting the global low prices, or maybe they were, but they just wasn't translating it to the consumer because there's no law that stipulates that they should. So, so make no mistake. Do we need regulations? 1,000%. When do we need them? From 1981. That's how long overdue it is. But how do we how I mean seriously, on a real page here now, how do we embark on this trek? Because we got politicians who are just straight cowards, straight cowards. We got a few titans in there, but they can't do it alone. You see, when you see J.E. Banks make an announcement that he's establishing a relationship with regional people like Jamaica and different places, Honduras and different places, he's being fought against internally and from certain members of the private sector. Because let me just tell you all this. This is not the first time that the idea of trying to establish a bridge and a relationship with regional partners for food and whatnot, that there weren't some resistance from some of the supermarket retailers, Believe me when I tell you, there is a ugly underbelly to this whole merchant class thing, I can tell you all that right now. But nobody wants to have that conversation because you're going to be upsetting apple cart, because some of these people are friends with some of the people who are watching the show who maybe go to Sunday dinner with them, and I really don't care. I truthfully don't care, because right now the underlying issue that we need to unpin is where this sort of behavior over decades have now systematically deteriorated the social well-being mentally and physically of the Caymanian people. It's gone. So the very people who look forward to going shopping on a Saturday night have to now refocus on other things, such as keeping the light on, the water, medical bills. You know, Chris Saunders said a mouthful in his statement when he said that most people are just one health problem away from bankruptcy. It's a truth. It is the God's honest truth. He didn't lie when he said that. So I'm just at the point where, we just gotta stop acting as if everything is okay, because nothing is okay. Nothing is okay. For the section of society who can afford to weather the storm of high cost of living, unfortunately, aren't the people who are in a position to change policy and power, other than to just continue to reap the seeded benefits that have been grandfathered in over the last 60 to 70 years. I'm telling you, we don't understand how bad this is, because we have been so accustomed to the current situation that we don't think that there's anything alternative, or there's anything that we can do that we can change the narrative of this whole situation. It's just one of those things that we have just willingly accepted. And then when you have people who talk about these things, then they're perceived as being know-it-alls or troublemakers, that they know what we're talking about, blah 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 blah. But let me tell you something. It's time that Cayman has his own Magna Carta. It's time for us to have our own Magna Carta. Yeah, we need to storm the gates now. And we need to make it very, very clear, unless we are inclusive into this economic success, then nobody, and I mean nobody, won't reap no benefits either. Now, a lot of people may feel as if I'm being a little bit harsh, but how else do you restore order? Because talking to politicians, talking to relegated individuals who are in a position to change policy, doing the right thing and just tagging along and smiling and waving has gotten us nowhere. Nowhere. Now, I remember telling you guys that the governor asked us when what would we do if the government didn't concede to the referendum. He only asked that question because he wanted to know what sort of mindset we were in, if we were willing to go and riot or have some sort of demonstration that would have caused problems in the social environment. That's why he asked us that. And you know why? Because where he from, that's what people do. Where he from, his whole entire history from the British colony is littered with events where they have trampled small people and have raped countries of their resources to benefit themselves. So he was just a little bit concerned that, hey, maybe one of our colonies might have learned something from us over the past couple centuries. So maybe they might want to rebel. That's why the man asked the question. But the question I ask is, how long is it going to take for us to stop waving that complacency flag, that K-Mankind garbage flag? Because that's K-Mankind is pure, utter foolishness. We've been kind for way too long. The problem is that we got a lot of cowards here too. We got a lot of talkers, no doers. But we need to draw that line in the sand, stick a peg, and we need to march forward because we not getting no better in this country. Let me tell you something, man. I see it every day, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. It is. Social security, social happiness, social peace of mind. Man, listen. There are way too many things that are pressing that we need to fix that are fundamentally deteriorating our sustainability in this country. It is way too much things, and we just not been able to prioritize the important things so that we can fix. Cost of living. Fix fuel, you fix cost of living. And you see the supermarkets? You see the prices in the supermarket, the wholesalers? Let me tell you something. I went last night to buy a piece of jerk chicken. I got a small. The small jerk chicken used to be $5, then it went to $7, and now it's $9. You understand? $9. Now, when I bought it last night, and I said, gee, and it went up $2, man. And then I start speaking with the owner, and he said to me, he told me that all of the places that he buy it from wholesale has gone up double. My poultry is duty free. So tell me, where is the justification? Because if Ofreg is telling Water Authority that they need to justify their submission for inflation, then we need to pay attention to these food people too. Because I can tell you this right now. I can drill a well and get water. I don't need Water Authority. But one thing I can't do without is food. It ain't no wells that you can drill to get food. So Ofreg need to start paying attention to the food goods in this island. We need to look at the price points of these foods that are coming here, especially the ones that are duty free. And can somebody please tell me, with all of the national habitat and land that has been preserved, why we don't have a chicken farm? And yes, maybe we got chicken farms, small pocket. Why don't we have a large-scale chicken farm that can produce all of the poultry this island needs, and we don't have to import a pound of it? Why? We got 74. What is the census? The new census came out, say we got 70-something thousand people. Why we don't have a farm for these chickens, free range chickens? We need to start focusing on long-term things. And if you don't want to do a farm here, okay, great. Let's go and invest in a farm in Jamaica, which is right next door. Let's go down there, fund one of those best dressed chicken farms so that we can get a constant supply of our own chicken coming into this region. Why is it that we allowing retailers to buy from whoever they want? Because I can tell you, the retailers, you see the wholesalers that's selling all of the chicken and the beefs and the meat and all this stuff that we eating, they're getting a good price from their distributors. So under no circumstances they're gonna want to buy from a farm here locally to distribute in their supermarkets because they know it's gonna cost a little bit more to them. And the thing is this: we need to get a grip on this. And yes, to all you supermarket owners, we need regulation on food in this country. You know why? Because food is the genesis of life. But you all have been allowed to run roughshod for way too long. And I better pray. And I better pray that Mario don't get in a position of power. Let me tell you something. There's gonna be some people around here. You understand? That mightn't like it, but they gonna get used to it. We gotta stop being apologetic for doing the right thing. We gotta stop that. Nola Sanderson. Good idea, Mario, but nobody wants to hear that. The thing is, yeah, it is the God's honest truth. Nobody don't want to. No, nobody don't want to do. Nobody don't want to put in the work. Everybody want to go heaven, but no one soul will and die. All right, so I gotta say that we not had no freezes in the internet today, so that's a win. Knock on wood. Let me not jinx it. Um, so I just want to send a big shout out to the C3 crew that came out here. Seems like whatever you guys done remedied the problem, and we haven't had any freezing today, thank goodness. And so, but yeah, we need to diversify our portfolio. I know that sound kind of like that sound like one of those aristocrat terms, but we need to diversify our portfolio. We need to reduce the need on many things in this country, so therefore we don't become subjected to some of the social issues that they cause. And that's what's happening right now. You know, in hindsight, when you talk about something, most people talk about the effects that you have right then and there. But we need to start focusing on the long term effects and benefits that you get from it. So, but again, it's just one of those things, and we all need to understand that we all have a collective role to play in all this. So, yeah, we need to put heavy regulations in place for food and fuel in this country, the two key drivers in the cost of living. I don't care what nobody say. You see, the thing that really blows my mind is that we allow these merchants an opportunity to get an audience with our politicians, and then that's when things don't go. No, we talk about it, but then that's when things don't happen. Nothing takes place at that point because the merchants get to say, no, 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 you can't do that because I won't be able to do this. I want to continue to do what I'm doing. I've been telling you something, man. We need to crack a whip. No, it time to dissolve this cesspool of control that we've had in our country that have now systematically forced good people into poverty. It's not about national pride anymore. People pride is gone. So we need to focus on how to reestablish getting people back to a point where they can take care of themselves and they feel proud about it. Trust me when I tell you, man. So it's time now. It's time for uprising in Cayman. It's time for an uprising in this country. And for all of you who may misunderstand what I mean, and for all of them that are watching that are not really watching, the authorities, because boy, let me tell you something, it's a put Mario in jail today card they want to pull. I don't really care. I don't really care. They arrested me for so many things that they never had any evidence on, just to whatever. I don't care. Send as much police as you want, and I've done that before. I really don't care. But make sure when it come this time, on a bring body bags because they're not taking me alive. Telling you that right now. And what I mean is that I'm not taking me alive. I'm not gonna carry me in a body bag because you're not arresting me for foolishness no more. You're not arresting me for something that you find is politically wrong. No, nobody not doing that anymore. I call the wife of the governor a lime, a term in which was coined by their own people, and they arrested me for it. You know why the term lime was indoctrinated into their history? Because they couldn't figure out that eating turtle prevented you from getting scurvy. No, they found out that citrus did. So every time they would send one of their merchant class boats or their ships out to sea, they would pile them up with lemons so that they can have citrus that they can prevent from getting scurvy. Hence the reason they were coined as limes. History. But they lock me up. They lock me up in a jail for saying that. Yeah. So I guess they put me in prison when I said that the crown jewels were stolen from India. The queen ran around with a crown that none of the jewels never come from her. Oh, geez, Mario, you just violated. I don't care. If I don't want to subscribe to the colonialism, I'm going to go right ahead, but I don't. So your governor wards and your OBEs and your knighthood, and it can keep that. Anybody who accept that is an institutionalized house nigger. White or black, brown, purple, pearl. I don't care. If you accept colonialism and how they attained it, then you accept the behavior in which they did in order to attain it. So don't come subscribing to Mario with your awards of acceptance that you accept that sort of behavior onto mankind. I don't subscribe to it. So the governor, when you leave in March, good riddance. Take everything you own and don't ever come back. In fact, don't even look at a brochure to come here on vacation. Stay in England. Go find one other island that called colonialized. Go there. Don't come here. We already had enough of your cocktail parties that we paid for, because you not pay for none of them. The only one I'd be willing to pay for is that goodbye party we're gonna have for you. I'll chip in for that one. I guess I'll never be invited to the governor house again. Okay. I really care. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an extreme pleasure to broadcast this morning without any interruptions. I see Jordan Rivers was on live watching earlier. Jordan, my friend, called me on my number. The second one, not the first one. That phone is dead and off, and I don't know what's wrong with that. Or just send me a message and let's you and I catch up over the weekend. I want you to come in the studio next week to do a couple of shows. We can work together here and keep this thing going. I also would anyway. I'll talk to you off air when I see you, and we get this thing going for sure, 100%. So yeah, let's see what Mr. Edicardo was saying. I don't know. Maybe they disagree. Say yes, Mario, you're still freezing up. I still freezing up, but not as bad as it was. Okay. Yeah. Maybe it's your device because we flowing up, yeah. A little bit, okay. All right. Well, at least it's not as bad as Wednesday and Monday where we had to actually stop and then restart and all that foolishness. So, but yeah. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I just want you all to have a safe weekend, have some fun, cook some food, enjoy the sun. If it rain, enjoy the rain. Listen, if it rain, grab on a shampoo, jump out in the rain. That's what we used to do when we were kids. Yeah, because, well, I know for me and my brother, we used to have to bail water out of a well, put it in a bath pan. So whenever it rained, I was like, all right, heaven's shower has just opened up. And then we get shampoo, we run around and bathe in the rain. That's what we did as kids. Nowadays, they're telling you, come inside before you get wet. You might catch the cold. I don't know. But anyway, being in the rain never killed me. I still yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching Word of Mouth. Thank you all for participating. Whatever comments you leave, greatly appreciated. Please don't forget to continue to share and like. We got our YouTube channel up and running, so please share it to those people who don't have Facebook so that they can watch it on YouTube. Share it to all your friends, and and we can get this movement pressing. Now, I've said quite a bit of things this morning. Some that might be some repercussions, especially with the whole. It's time for us to stand up and make our presence be felt. No, we need to stand up now. We got to stand up. This talking thing not getting us nowhere. So if we need to get out there and make our presence felt in a good way, non-criminal way. Listen now, let me just be very clear on that. Next thing you know now, because I can tell you, they watches this show 100%. Monday, I wanna go in on some of the conversations that I was talking about, especially with the landfill, and I wanna talk about the future of what the landfill should look like, what it should be, what part we should be playing, what's going on. I'm not too particularly happy with the consortium that happening down in the landfill. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm about to call a spade come Monday. Yeah, we'll be popping some heads come Monday. Monday, there's gonna be some head popping. Because for the life of me, I can't understand why we constantly embark down treks that don't be inclusive of Caymanians and everybody who are a part of the system. I don't get it. Time now for that to stop. Because I can tell you this right now. If things don't change, we're going to have to change them. That's a fact. So, anyway, you all enjoy your weekend. Please be safe. Please, I beg you all, be safe. If you're going to drink responsibly. Drink at home or carry a designated driver or call someone, whatever the case is. Please be safe on the roads. We got 12 fatalities on the road already for 2022. Let's not increase that number. Let's end the year with no more fatalities on the road, period, for no reason. Enjoy your weekend. See you guys on Monday. Jordan, I'll give you a shout over the weekend or you give me a shout. And we can get going for next week. Have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your Friday.
We got to break Sariba up. Sariba is a cartel.
We have to own our grid because we paid for it. You had it too long. That's number one. We need to control the purchasing of fuel because we pay for it. We should be in charge of buying it. The fuel companies, you better buckle up too. Jackson Point pipeline have to be reverted back to the ownership of the country. Oh, Mario, you can't tell them how to operate their business. Well, yes, we can. Having this idea that you're going to impose what's best because of what the law tells you can do will cause an uprising in this country that you've never seen before. My children are going to be saddled with the debt of a billionaire so that he can have his name printed on everything we got around here. Because let me tell you something, this is Dart Island.